Hello learners, today we are going to talk about gout. So in the first slide we will come to know about the nucleotide structures. There are two types of sugar, which is ribose sugar and deoxyribose sugar, and bases are of two types, purine bases and pyrimidine base. Purine base are adenine and guanine, and pyrimidine base are cytosine, thiamine and uracil in case of RNA. Now, what is nucleoside? When a base and a sugar is combined, it is called nucleoside. And when a base and a sugar is combined along with phosphate, it is called nucleotide. So, in our next slide, we'll come to know about uric acid metabolism. Nitrogenous compounds are continuously derived from digestion of proteins in ingested food, degradation of nucleic acids, purine salvage pathways, de novo purine biosynthesis, and purine nucleotide interconversions. Nitrogenous waste products are highly toxic, therefore, efficient mechanisms of elimination have evolved that are optimally suited for a particular class of organism. All animals excrete three main nitrogenous products: ammonia, urea, and uric acid, as well as minor nitrogen excretory products. The normal range of uric acid in blood is 2.6 to 6.0 mg per dl for female and 3.5 to 7.2 mg per dl for male. So in the next slide, we will come to know about how uric acid is formed from different kinds of products in our body. So as we can see in this chart, from AMP, IMP is formed with the help of AMP deaminase, and again AMP forms adenosine with the help of nucleotidase. Again, IMP with the help of nucleotidase forms inosine, and adenosine forms inosine with the help of adenosine deaminase. Now, adenosine with the help of purine nucleoside phosphorylase forms hypoxanthine, and it is an irreversible reaction. From hypoxanthine, we get xanthine with the help of xanthine oxidase. There are other ways in formation of xanthine. One is XMP is formed to xanthosine with the help of nucleotidase, which in turn forms xanthine with the help of purine nucleoside phosphorylase in our body. And again, GMP with the help of nucleotidase forms guanosine, which in turn forms purine nucleoside with the help of purine nucleoside phosphorylase forms guanine, and this also forms xanthine which with the help of guanine deaminase. Now all this xanthine forms uric acid when it is combined with xanthine oxidase. Coming to our next slide, what is gout? Excess accumulation of uric acid in blood can lead to a disease known as gout. This painful condition is the result of accumulation of needle-like monosodium urate crystals of uric acid precipitating in the joints. Normally, the first attacked part of our body is the big toe. Bone erosion takes place when accumulation of these urate particles happen over there. Normally, purine-rich food is not prescribed for diet as a diet for these patients, and it is normally treated with NSAIDs or corticosteroids, and urate levels are managed with allopurinol. But in this slide further, we will come to know about other myths and other information of this about this diet. Internal purines, uric acid and gout. When cells die in our bodies, complex chemical reaction break down the cell contents forming purines and other substances. Our body produces a substance called xanthine oxidase that turns purine into uric acid. We have seen the reactions before in previous slides. Our kidneys extract uric acid from blood, then return most of it, excreting any surplus. Several factors which influence what our kidney consider to be a surplus, and that process can be changed by genetics, the amount of protein in our diet, other substances such as alcohol, and some medicine. When uric acid becomes too concentrated in our blood, it will pass into joints and other tissues where it may form the crystals that may cause gout. It is important to realize from this that irrespective of diet, our bodies produce their own uric acid supply. Complex processes work on the raw materials, that is purines, and may excrete and create the excess uric acid and then cause gout. Okay, that was the internal purines. Now we are coming to the external purines. External purines, uric acid and gout. External purines from our diet simply increase the raw material available for uric acid production. If our bodies have problems in parts of the internal purine processing described above, then external purines might take the problem worse, but they do not cause gout directly. When uric acid processing problems lead to gout, do not ban all your favorite foods. Life will become miserable and you might achieve nothing. Yes, reducing external purines has a good chance of reducing uric acid, but it is a slight reduction, which is rarely sufficient to bring uric acid in the blood down to safe levels. For an example, think of a traffic at a busy intersection. When all is okay, the traffic flows, but if there is an accident, extra traffic adds to delays. It does not usually cause more accidents. Traffic is internally generated as an essential part of the city life, and it can be increased by external traffic from visitors. When traffic problems occur, we do not ban visitors, though we might advise alternate routes. Okay. Now coming to the different types of purines. Scientists have known for decades that there are different kinds of purines and that each has a different action when taken as part of our diet. This involves complicated processes that can vary from person to person. So even the best analysis of relevant purine-rich food can only produce an estimate that should be confined with uric acid blood tests. Zollner's analysis of purine metabolism suggests that xanthine and hypoxanthine are the most effective purines for increasing uric acid, hence referred as gout purines, and so restrict the purine-rich food to those compounds. Here are some of the types of purines, and as we can see, number 4, which is hypoxanthine, and number 5, xanthine, are the two main components which actually causes uric acid accumulation or excess uric acid formation. Other than that, all other are less important in this case, but anyhow, these all are purines and which can somehow or the other increase the uric acid level in our body. Some different types of purine-rich foods are, as you can see, tuna, beef, chicken, pork, lamb burger, cheese, mushroom, and beer. I need not explain this chart, I feel, because this is only the value of purine bases present and other things present in these foods. You can always check it and the source is also given. Now coming to the next slide. Okay. Total purine levels in the body is determined by external purines plus internal purines, which is equal to the total purine in the body. That means purine that we eat plus purine produced by the body is the total purines in the body. This is a very simple fact. So from that we can derive uric acid produced minus uric acid excreted is the total uric acid accumulation in the body. When there is a defect in this process, the uric acid accumulation increases, causing gout. So we can come to the conclusion like this: the wrong foods can cause uric acid produced and decreased uric acid excretion, which will increase the total uric acid in the body, and right foods will increase the excretion of uric acid, which will decrease the total uric acid in the body, which is good for us. Okay, now some facts. The actual evidence, however, has always been less than compelling. Just as low cholesterol diets have only a trivial effect on serum cholesterol levels, for instance, and low salt diets have a clinically insignificant effect on blood pressure, low purine diets have a negligible effect on uric acid level, which means if we just lower down the intake of something doesn't mean that it will help in preventing us from that particular disease, or even that is not the treatment for that particular disease. All we need to know is how to recover from the state why this is caused, which I mean is how to recover from excess uric acid accumulation, not just not eating uric acid rich foods. A nearly vegetarian diet, for instance, is likely to drop serum uric acid levels by 10 to 15% compared to a typical American diet. But that's really sufficient to return high uric acid levels to normality, and there is a little evidence that such diets reliably reduce the incidence of gouty attacks in those afflicted. Thus, purine-free diets are no longer prescribed for treatment of gout, as the gout specialist Irwin Fox noted in 1984, because of their ineffectiveness and their minor influence on uric acid. Some more facts. Moreover, the incidence of gout in vegetarians, or mostly vegetarians, have always been significantly and much higher than is generally assumed. One mid-century estimate, for instance, put the incidence of gout in India among largely vegetarians and teetotalers at 7%. Finally, there is a repeated observation that eating more protein increases the excretion of uric acid from the kidney, and by doing so decreasing the level of uric acid in the blood. This implies that meat gout hypothesis is at best debatable. The high protein content of meat should be beneficial even if purines are not, which means like many people say, we need not restrict the protein rich foods if a patient is suffering from gout. By the 1990s, Gerald Reaven, among others, was reporting that insulin resistance and hyperinsulinemia raised uric acid levels, apparently by decreasing uric acid excretion by the kidney, just as they raised blood pressure by decreasing sodium excretion. As we know, sodium is a very important component during excretion in the loop of Henle, because it works as an electrolyte which helps in osmosis. We'll come to know about it later when we will be studying the functions of kidney. So for now, the only thing we should be knowing is sodium is required for excretion, for the ongoing of excretion process. It appears that modulation of serum uric acid concentration by insulin resistance is exerted at a level of the kidney. Raven wrote, the more insulin resistant an individual, the higher the serum uric acid concentration. These observations would suggest that anything that raised insulin levels would in turn raise uric acid level and might cause gout, which would implicate any high carbohydrate diet with sufficient calories, because it is directly affecting the sodium in kidney, and also which is affecting the excretion process of uric acid in our body. Fructose, for instance, accelerates the breakdown of a molecule known as ATP, which is the primary source of energy for cellular reaction and is loaded with purines. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine is a form of adenine and adenine is a purine, and so this in turn increases formation of uric acid. Alcohol apparently raises uric acid level through the same mechanism, although beer also has purines in it. Fructose also stimulates the synthesis of purines directly, and the metabolism of fructose leads to production of lactic acid, which in turn reduces the excretion of uric acid by the kidney and so raises uric acid concentration indirectly by the mechanism, while the glucose, though its effect on insulin, would also decrease uric acid excretion. Thus, it would be reasonable to assume, or at least to speculate, that sugar is likely a cause of gout, and that the patterns of sugar consumption explains the appearance and distribution of the disease. Some other facts that may cause high uric acid concentration in blood. The first one is kidney disease or kidney damage that prevents normal elimination of uric acid. As we have seen earlier in the earlier slides, that excretion of uric acid is required to eliminate the uric acid in our body, and if it is not done in the right way, then uric acid will accumulate, and the first part it will affect is the big toe, and then followed by other joints. The increased breakdown of body cells that occurs with some types of cancer, including leukemia, lymphoma, and multiple myeloma, or cancer treatments, sickle cell anemia, hemolytic anemia, or heart failure. So, as our body cells have RNA and DNA in it, which contains purine bases, so breakdown of such cells in a rapid manner, which sometimes happens, which actually happens in case of cancer, sickle cell anemia, and hemolytic anemia, increases the uric acid formation in our body, which in turn also increases the uric acid levels in our body. Certain disorders such as preeclampsia, liver disease, obesity, psoriasis, hypothyroidism, and low blood levels of parathyroid hormone also causes uric acid accumulation in blood. An inherited gene disorder known as Leishman syndrome is also sometimes not helpful actually, but also increases the level of uric acid in our body. Drugs such as diuretics, vitamin C, niacin, warfarin such as Coumadin, cyclosporin, levodopa, tacrolimus, and some medicine used to treat leukemia, lymphoma, or tuberculosis increases the blood uric acid level. Starvation causes the body to metabolize its own purine-rich tissues for energy. So this also increases the uric acid level. Exercise may result in enhanced tissue breakdown and decreased renal excretion due to mild volume depletion and lead intoxication. In case of lead intoxication, our kidneys fail to work, and that's why it causes uric acid accumulation. Now we come to the end of this slide, end of this session with these myths. These are the myths which normally people know about gout. Myth number 1: over time gout will go on its own. Gout can never go on its own, because if we continue eating whatever we are eating, and which is the only cause or maybe the major cause of uric acid accumulation in blood, so it will obviously not stop, but will increase the level of gout in our body and leading to different types of side effects. Myth number 2: gout is a mild form of arthritis. No, gout is not at all arthritis. Arthritis is totally about bones, and gout is something which is related to uric acid levels in blood. Both are totally different, so we cannot relate it. And whenever a person comes with joint pain, so it can be arthritis, can be gout, which can be only detected after blood test. Gout is a rare condition. This is absolutely not right, because gout is found in many of the people. Normally I can say in India at least 70% of people, 70% of the population is suffering from gout. Gout only affects big toe. Basically gout starts affecting the big toe first, but if it is not treated, or it's not treatment is not done with proper medication, it will rise to other joints and then to other parts of the bones and cartilages. Myth number 5, gout attack never lasts longer than 10 days. No, if not treated, the gout attack will be prolonged and it will continue till death. Myth number 6, gout goes away between gout attacks. No, this is not true, as I have told in the previous point. Gout never goes away between gout attacks. It is a disease, and it can't go and it can't come like switch on and off. So like all other diseases, it stays unless it is treated well. And myth number 7, eating cherries can cure gout. Cherries has no no connection with this disease. Rather, we can say that if we talk about food, there are many myths, like we should not eat pulses, or we should not eat anything with seeds. But these, as I have told earlier, these are all myths, and any such kind of things doesn't cause gout. What we need to do is we have to restrict the calories, like we do in case of diabetes mellitus, and to restrict the ATP formation or the adenine formation, which will cause uric acid, because adenine is a purine base, and it causes uric acid increase in our body, and hence we can just eating low calorie food, and sometimes avoiding red meat is more than enough to treat this disease. Thank you.